Don't say, oh, you know what? I did my AI policy, check it off, then you move on. You cannot do that. All right, your AI policy is a living document, and that's very, very critical.
Hey, welcome to Capterra's Guest Network series, where we talk to leading business influencers about how to work smarter by using the right software. I'm Niels Juist. So generative AI is simplifying the work for thousands of marketeers, but it's also raising new challenges when it comes to quality control and trust. Pam Didner is here to share tips for overcoming those challenges. She's a marketing thought leader and author of The Modern AI Marketeer. Welcome, Pam.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Great that you're here. Pam, is there anything that worries you about the way GenAI is being used among your peers?
I want to say this, like the AI train has left the station. We cannot really stop it. So the key is not to really worry about it. But the key is help everybody understand what are some of the pros and cons of using AI, right? And for example, don't enter or using the prompts to, by using the confidential information of your company as a part of prompt to get answered. So from my perspective, it's not necessarily I have to worry about in terms of how the AI is being used by the peers. It's more about training them and the communicating with them in terms of what AIs can do, cannot do, what's the cons, what's the pros, what are some of the tips and tricks that we need to do to actually avoid to put our companies at risk. So training, communicating, talking, best way to actually move the AI forward.
So, Pam, 40% of marketeers in a new Capterra survey say maintaining human creativity is a top challenge when it comes to generative AI. What would you say to any nervous marketeers out there?
You know, I'm going to use myself as an example to answer this specific question. So I wrote a book, The Modern AI Marketer, back in February 2020. Well, 2 years has passed, AI has changed dramatically. Right. So the book was dated and I want to revise it. And the way I want to do it initially is very audacious. I would like to use AI to write that book. The Modern AI book was written by AI, but moderated by Pam Didner. So I worked very closely with a coder and who is also a very good prompt engineer to start doing different way to actually have the AI to write the whole book. And the outcome was miserable and dismal. And AI was able to create a whole book, mind you, but all the phrases they add together are kind of flowery. And when you read it, it was like, oh my God, that sounds great. But when you think about it, there was no substance underneath it. It was just a bunch of beautiful words from beginning to the end. Not working. So I end up started from the scratch. I created my own outlines. I did my own research and I sat down. Guess what? I sat down and wrote, which is something I did not want to do. Then, you know what? The human creativity can still flourish. It really depends on what you do. And for example, the image creation, the AI can do that, but you can too. It's the judgment call. So from my perspective, I think there's still opportunity for us to showcase our creativities and might be different from AI.
Right. But so far, it needs to be a collaboration maybe between AI and humans.
I think so too. Yeah.
So apparently there's a new term for bad AI-generated content. It's called AI slop. What quality assurance steps should marketers add to their workflows to avoid AI slop?
Well, marketers, and when you are creating content, you really need to come from the lenses of, is this information I put it out there helpful and relevant to my customers? So the thing that you can gauge in terms of, are you creating too many content? A lot of time we do, right? Every Friday we have to produce a blog post. Every Wednesday, we need to actually have a video up on YouTube channel or whatnot. the frequency somehow force us to actually go toward that AI slop. So I always want to tell people, when you have nothing to say, then you know what? You don't need to produce that week. Unless you have millions and millions and millions of followers. If they don't see you, they get very sad. Then that's a different story. But if you get that many followers, your content is not slop to start with. So think it through in terms of frequency and also the quality of your content, and then determine, how do you manage that?
What do you think are some key elements marketers should include in the AI users policies?
That's actually a great question. I want to say one thing in terms of this technology is actually evolving in front of our eyes. So there's so many news about AI that's being announced almost every single day. So we are setting up the policy when the technology is not even mature. That means your policy is a living document and needs to be updated on a regular basis. That's one thing I want to make sure everybody understand that. You need to do that. Don't say, oh, you know what? I did my AI policy, check it off, then you move on. You cannot do that. All right, your AI policy is a living document, and that's very, very critical. And you need to start with something in terms of how the AI being used in your company. One of my clients, they actually, within their marketing organization of 20 people, the VP of marketing actually assigned someone to actually kind of track how everybody use AI. So how you use AI needs to be reported to this specific person. Well, they are not trying to monitor in terms of people how to do their job, but knowing how the team uses AI can formulate the policy, right? What are some of the rules that we should all follow collectively? And also, what are some of the popular tools that are being used? Maybe that's something that we should standardize and scale. So having somebody tracking in terms of how AI is used, started with the usage to kind of work backward to create your policy. But in general, there's a couple things that you need to follow, right? Like don't enter confidentials or proprietary information into the prompt, such as customer data, sales strategy, sales proposal, contract information. The other one, don't copy and paste ChatGPT responses entirely or blindly. And the other one is to fact check, right? So if you are doing the long form content and you are having AI to help you, and there are certain things said, and from your perspective, it requires certain kind of citation, you have to think about it and you have to do a fact check, right? What is the citation source? And in terms of also check the fact. And a lot of time the writing can be very, very repetitive, and you need to you need to edit it down. So, and there was, in terms of policy, and they have one phrase, I love it. When in doubt, don't do it. I love that. If you look at it, you're doing everything and AI is doing a great job. You say, oh, I should use this. And you're like, I'm not so sure. When you are not sure, then don't use it.
So many companies use also third-party agencies for marketing. How can they make sure their partners are also using AI responsibly?
That's actually kind of hard. And but if you have AI policies, you should definitely share that with your agencies, contractors, and the third-party vendors. Let them know that this is a policies that everybody follow internally or do the best they can, and that they expect the agencies, third-party vendors, and also contractor to follow the same rules. So communicate that is also very critical. The other thing is you should ask them to be very transparent about how they use AI. A lot of time we delegate, for example, the social media writing, the social media posts into the agency, and that they do it, which is great. But again, understand their workflow, understand their processes, how they use it. And maybe you need to do a little evaluation, right? And this is how they do it. Maybe you provide feedback. If this is good, this is not good, this is comply with your internal policy or whatnot. Have that close communication with your agency. Try to understand what they do. And for the agency out there, be transparent and tell your your customers in terms of how you use your AI. Make that a win-win strategy and take it from there. At the end of the day, it's about training and the communication. And in this specific case, over-communication is better than under-communication.
Well, thank you for your insights, Pam.
Anytime.
And thank you for watching. You can check out more of these interviews on our YouTube channel. So please like and subscribe. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and X. See you next time.